Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all those assembled, welcome once again. It's Friday and it's Stories for Children, and our featured storyteller for today is Norman Perrin. And I think I just mispronounced your last name. However, Norman is in Toronto, and this is Baba C. I'm your co host, and I'm in Washington, D.C., in the United States. All right. And Norman, just before you start your story, can Louis finished sharing what he was sharing?
Yes.
All right. No, Louis, finish sharing.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Babsy. Just saying, main clubs is on the first week, but on Saturday the second. But Babsy, I will see you on your birthday, the first, on Friday, and I will.
All right. All right. I'll be looking forward to that. Thank you. That's a birthday present in the making. Okay. And now, without further ado, here's Norman. He's a prolific storyteller and one of my best friends. And he was also in Marrakesh and he participated in the Guinness Book world breaking event of over 80 hours of nonstop storytelling. And talk about nonstop, I'm going to stop. Norman, you can begin.
Oh, thanks. That with an introduction like that, it's so nice. I don't want you to keep on, just keep on introducing me for the whole hour, and then, oh, then I suddenly realized I don't have to tell a story. Well, I do. So, the story. I was wondering what story would I tell. I made up a list, and after the list got too long, I just took a pair of scissors and I went snip, 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 and all the titles I weren't going to use fell off. So this is a story I decided to tell, and called, and it comes from the land of China. And China has, once there was a custom. This is a story in which they said in China there was a custom to give children beautiful long names for to their firstborn children. And so when a mother and father had their first child, it was a little boy, and they gave him the name of Tiki Tiki Temple No Sav Rumble Cherry Berry Ruchi Pip Perry Pemble, which means the most wonderful thing in the whole world. And of course, for the parents, all children are the most wonderful things, except when they're not. But that's a story for another time. And so they taught little Tiki Tiki Temple Nosa Rumble Cherry Berry Rucha Perry Pimple how to walk and to talk and all sorts of things. But when they had a second child, they named him Chang, which is a short name, a good name. But so when they grew old enough, Tiki Tiki Temple, Nosa Rumble, Cherry Berry, Ruchi Pip Perry Pimple, and Chang were the best of friends. And on the day that it was the spring day to fly kites, because the wind was blowing, the sky was blue, the birds were flying back and forth, and so they would make their kites out of bamboo and silk, and they would paint wonderful things on the kite. And if you want to know what was painted on them, you may make a kite. And what do you think they might paint on a kite that was flying in the sky? They would put birds and animals and mountains. And so when they'd finished painting their kites, Tiki Tiki Temple, No Sav Rumble, Cherry Berry, Rusha Perry Pemble, and Chang would take their kites, and they were flying outside where the wind was blowing, and they played near the well where they got their water. And they played near the well, they played by the well, and when suddenly, splash! Down into the well fell Chang. And Chang, his brother, Tiki Tiki Temple, No Sound Rumble, Cherry Berry, Ruchi Perry Pemble, ran down the hill and across the field and to his mother and said, Mother, 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 Chang has fallen into the well. He says, What? Said the mother. What did you say? What did you say? The water is roaring, and I did not hear. And the Chang says, Mother, my Tiki Tiki Temple no Rumble Cherry Berry Ruchi Perry Pemble has my brother Chang has fallen into the well. Oh, said the mother. Oh, go get the old man with the ladder and get him out of the well. And so Chang ran across, got the old man who was sleeping underneath a plum tree. And he said, Old man, my brother Chang has fallen into the water. Oh, said the old man. And what did he do? He went and got the ladder. And he went over to the well and he let the ladder down step by step by step. And the old man climbed down into the well step by step by step. And he picked up Chang and he pulled Chang out of the water and he pushed the water out of him and he breathed the air into him. And they pushed the water out of him and breathed the air into him until cough, cough, cough. Chang was feeling much, much better. So Tiki Tiki Temple, No Sub Rumble, Cherry Berry, Rich Perry Pemble promised their mother again that they would never, ever play near the well again. Do you think they kept that promise? No. But because the next year it was a time to fly kites again. And they saw the kites flying back and forth with their beautiful pictures of animals and birds and mountains. And they flew the kites higher, higher, and higher. They were competing to see who could fly the highest when suddenly, splash! Into the well fell. Who do you think fell into the well? Tiki Tiki Tumble, No Sub Rumble, Cherry Berry, Rucha Perry Pemble fell into the well.
Whoa.
And Chang ran. And he ran to his mother. And his mother was washing clothes by the river, by the waterfall. And little Chang said, Mother, 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 Tiki Tiki Temple, No Sub Rumble, Cherry Berry, Richard Perry Pimple has fallen into the well. And the mother said, Oh, my son, you must speak your brother's name with respect. You spoke far too quickly. What happened? Tell me again. And Chang took another breath and said, Mother, Tiki Tiki Temple, Sonosa, Rumble, Perry, Cherry Berry, Ruchi, Pip, Perry, Pemble has fallen into the well. Oh, no, said the mother, my firstborn son. Quickly, go get the old man and get the ladder and get my firstborn son out of the water. And so Chang ran, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. He came to the old man who was sleeping underneath. What was the tree he was sleeping underneath? The plum tree. And he called out, Old man! Old man, Tiki Tiki Temple, Little Rumble, Cherry Berry, Ruchi, Perry Pemble has fallen into the well. And the old man said, woke up. The old man woke up and he said, What did you say? And so Chang said, had to say that great, big, long name again. Tick, tick, tuck, tick, pop, pop, poople, paffle, paffle. And he stopped. And he took a deep, deep, deep breath and he said, Old man, my brother has fallen into the well. For he could not say that great long name again. And the old man got up and he went down the hill and he got the ladder and he went across and the field and he came to the well and he put the ladder down into the well and step by step he went down into the well and he found Tiki Tiki Temple, No Sub Rumble, Cherry Berry, Richard Perry Pemble, and he pulled him up and then he laid him down and he pushed the water out of him. He breathed the air into him. He pushed the water out of him. He breathed the air into him. He pushed the water out of him, and he breathed the air out of him until at last, cough, 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 Tiki Tiki Temple, No Sub Rumble, Cherry Berry, Rucha Perry Pemble was able to breathe again. But he had been in the water for so long that it took him a long, long time. and many bowls of hot soup before he was much better. And so, ever since that day, the children still make kites. They still paint them with pictures of animals and birds and mountains. But one thing has changed. And what has changed? They give short names to their children, like Lui Chang and so on and so forth. So since then, nobody has ever been named. What was his name again?
Too long for me to say.
You've learned. So they never call their children Tiki Tiki Temple, Nosa Rumble, Cherry Berry, Ruchibit Perry Pemble again, but they do remember this story. And I've told it to you, and now that you've heard it more than once, you can tell it to somebody else. Thank you.
Yay! That's easy for you to say.
Well, I wanted to tell you a story that comes from the country that I live in, from the story, and it's in an island called Turtle Island. Does anybody know where Turtle Island is?
On the back of a turtle.
How did you guess? Well, Turtle Island, though, a long time ago when the world was brand new, there was a young woman, and she lived in a land where there was, if you looked to the north, you saw water. If you looked to the south, you saw water. If you looked to the east and to the west, what did you see? What did she see? She saw
Water.
water. So there was no place for her to live in. And so she went to live in the sky. And in the sky there was many wonderful things. And one of the most wonderful things was a tree. A huge tree. A tree that reached wide, far and wide. And underneath that tree, she sat underneath the branches of the tree, because on the branches of the tree there was many wonderful things like that grew there. Seeds of all kinds. There was brown seeds, blue seeds, striped seeds, spotted seeds, seeds that could grow if there was earth for them to grow in. But you know what? The only thing there was water. Now, as she was sleeping under the tree, taking a nap one day, she had a dream. She dreamt that there was a great wind that came. And that wind went, and the tree swayed back and forth, back and forth, and the wind blew the tree down, crash. And she woke up. He said, I dreamt that a wind came and blew this tree down. And a nearby spirit said, a wind came and blew this tree down? Oh, well, that's important, and that's a powerful dream. I will make that dream come true. And the spirit grabbed hold of that tree on one side and the other side and held it and lifted and threw the tree down with a crash. And the young woman saw that there was now a hole in the sky. And she was curious, what's in the hole? If you found a hole in the sky, what would be the first thing you'd do? You would explore and look at it. And so she went and looked down into the hole. And she saw, what did she see? Water. But there was creatures swimming in the water, round and round and round. They were so far away that she wanted to take a closer look. And so she grabbed hold of one branch and another branch covered with slippery seeds. And she leaned, and she leaned, and she leaned, and she fell. Down into the sky, Sky Woman fell. Down, 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 towards the water, while the animals were swimming round and round and round. And one of the animals said, "Hey, somebody has fallen out of the sky. I think," and said Turtle, "somebody has fallen out of the sky." "It's Sky Woman," said Frog. "Sky Woman, she can't stay in the water. There's nothing for her to stand on." "Oh, then," said Otter, "then I will find something for her to stand upon." And Otter said, "I'm Otter. I'm a fast swimmer. Whoosh! I'm going to dive into the water. I will go to the bottom of this water. I will find, I, what will I find?" asked Otter. And Turtle said, "I heard something from my grandmother, from my grandmother, from my grandmother's 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 grandmother, that there was something called Earth." "Oh," said Otter. "Well, then I will go and find this Earth." And Otter leapt up into the air, whoosh, and splashed into the water and began to swim like an arrow straight down into the deepest, the darkest ocean there ever was. And like that arrow, Otter went down, 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 down. His Otter thought, "I'm the fastest swimmer there ever was. I'll bring back this land." But Otter went down and down and down and did not find the land. Otter ran out of breath. And Otter floated to the surface of the ocean, floated up, and said, "I could not find this land. I'm the Otter. I am Otter. I am the fastest swimmer there ever was. I cannot bring back this land. It's impossible." "Well, then I'm going to have to try," said Frog. "I'm Frog. I'm the fastest swimmer. I can go." But so Frog leapt up into the air, dove into the water, and like a green arrow, little green frog went into the ocean. And with fast strokes, he went down, down, down. Did not find land. Down, down, down. Did not find land until at last Frog ran out of breath. And Frog floated to the surface of the water. And Frog said, I'm the fastest swimmer there ever was. I'm sorry. And I could not bring back this land for Sky Woman to walk upon. Meanwhile, remember Sky Woman? She's still falling down. And she's getting close to the earth. And so some geese said, "Sky Woman is going to land on the water." And they flew up into the air. The two geese flew up into the air, and Sky Woman landed on their backs. Thump, thump. And they started to fly around in a circle with Sky Woman standing upon their backs. "We can hold her for a while," said the geese, "but we cannot hold her forever." "Then I'm going to have to try," said Otter. And Otter said, and they laughed at him. "Are you the strongest swimmer?" No, I'm not strong," said Otter. "Are you the fastest swimmer?" No, I'm not very fast, but I'm going to have to try. I'm going to have to try, otherwise Sky Woman will drown." And so Otter began to swim. Not swiftly, not strongly, but steadily, straight down, 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 to the deepest, darkest ocean there ever was. And just when it felt that the ocean would crush Otter like an eggshell, Otter touched something. It felt strange. And the next thing Otter knew, Otter was at the surface of the ocean. His friends were looking at him. "Are you all right, Otter? Are you okay, Otter? Did you find land?" "I found something," said Otter, "and it feels funny." And there, underneath Otter's claw, there was a bit of gritty stuff. "That's earth," said Otter. And it wasn't much, but they took a little bit and they patted it. And they said words over it. And as they spoke their words, that land began to grow. It grew to the north, it grew to the south, and it grew to the east and to the west. And it grew so large. Where are we going to put this? Asked Otter. And Turtle said, "Oh, well, I know what we can do. You can give that earth to me and put it upon my back. My back is strong, and I will hold this growing land for Sky Woman to walk upon." And so they put the earth upon Turtle's back. And when they did that, the land kept on growing. And the land grew, and underneath it, Turtle grew with the land too. Turtle and the land grew to the north, grew to the south, grew to the east and to the west. It grew so large it became the land known as Turtle Island. And so, underneath this world that we have, as the First Nations people say, Turtle Island is there. And so Sky Woman landed upon the backs on the dry, warm earth, and the two geese waddled off, and they've been waddling ever since because of the marks that were left upon her back. And Sky Woman looked around, and she saw that the land was dry and brown and barren. And she said, "I will bring gifts for this land." And she remembered in her hands were the seeds from the tree in the sky. And so she scattered those seeds to the north, to the south, to the east and the west, and the wind went whoosh, 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 whoosh. And those seeds began to scatter everywhere. And they planted themselves, and they began to grow. They grew into the wonderful things we have on Turtle Island, plants and flowers and good things to eat like potatoes and tomatoes and squash. All of these things are the gifts of Sky Woman from long ago. And when the land was green and covered with trees and flowers and plants and things to eat, Sky Woman turned to the animals and said, "My friends, thank you so much for saving my life and giving me this land to walk upon. But I must warn you that I've given you these gifts, and you must take care of these gifts, because there will be a time in the far future when these gifts will be in danger. And you must learn to take care of the plants and the world and the animals that live in this world. Because, as Sky Woman said, my friends, the end of this story is not up to me. The end of this story is up to you. We must share these gifts that I've given you. We must share them with each other. Remember that when that time comes." And that is the end and the beginning of the story of Turtle Island.
Whoa. Another magnificent story by Norman. Hey,
Hey,
Norman, before you tell your next story, your last story you were talking about kite flying. And in
right.
Washington, D.C., we used to have a national event down on the mall. The mall is a great big land expanse uh,
Mm-hmm.
surrounded by the Smithsonian Institute, which is a series of museums. And then one year, somebody in the federal government decided that they couldn't do the kite flying contest because it's illegal to fly. It was because Washington, D.C. is basically a no-fly zone. But the public outcry was so great they had to reinstate it. But now it is part of our cherry blossom festival. So we still have kite flying. And I've never attended one, but I think I will next year. But
Oh,
I just
okay.
want to share that little bit with you.
Thank you. Now, I'm just quick.
We got
Yeah,
time.
yeah, we have time. But I just wanted to ask what I'd like you to think about. What would you paint on the back of a kite to fly in the sky? You don't have to tell me, or you can mute yourself. could unmute yourselves, please? And I want each one of you to tell me what would you like to paint on the back of your kites so they could fly over this land of Sky Woman's of Turtle Island. What would you fly?
A Black Panther.
A Black Panther, very strong and fierce. Would be
seeds that stick them that will fall out that will plant new tree.
that is wonderful. The seeds.
And it plants stuff that you can eat.
Oh, stuff you could eat.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's wonderful. Oh, there's an adult voice there. What would the that? What would you put on the back of your kite?
Oh, that's with HB iPad. We're asking
Okay.
the adult, what would you put on the back of your kite?
Uh,
I would put like
Probably
cars and trees.
maybe a beautiful bird.
Ah, a beautiful
Okay.
bird.
and Louis, thank you. Birds. I love birds flying around. And Louis, what would you paint on the back of your kite?
Hey, Mr. President. Louis.
Oh, Louis, you're muted.
What would you put on, if you had a kite in the air, what would you paint on the back of it?
Louis, unmute yourself so you can tell us what you would. Huh?
Unmute, say it again.
Shrek.
Shrek?
Shrek. Okay, Shrek would love to go for a ride on a kite. Okay, then. Now, so I'm ready. I'm going to be telling the third and the last story. And. Once upon a long time ago, the world had just been made, and the shaper and maker of things was wandering around this world to the north and to the south, to the east and to the west, and saw the birds and the animals and of all kinds. And then the shaper and maker of things saw a cat and said, "Hello, cat." The cat didn't say anything. Shaper and maker of things saw a dog. "Hello, dog." The dog didn't say anything. And the shaper and the maker of things said, I forgot. What did I forget? Oh, yes, I forgot to give voices to the animals. And so the shaper reached up into the sky and took the roar of the wind and reached down, down, down into the water of the oceans and found the sound of water, drippy sounds and sloppy sounds, all kinds. And then he mixed those sounds together and made voices. Voices, enough voices for all of the creatures, all of the animals of the world. And then put those voices into a big, big, big bag and called out, "All you animals of the world, come to the clearing by the edge of the great green forest, and there you will receive voices, your own true voices." And so the shaper's voice rolled around the world, round and round and round and round, and all of the animals heard, but they couldn't say anything about it because they didn't have voices yet. So the animals gathered from the north and the south and the east and west. And from the south there was alligators. From the north there was polar bears. From the west there was bison. And from the east there was deer. Animals of all kinds. And they gathered around that big bag. And there was hoots and there was howls and there was screeches and there were yowls coming from that bag. And each one of them wondered, what would my voice be like? And what is this thing called a true voice? And so the shaper stepped in front of all the animals and said, "All the animals of the world, now you must listen to what I'm about to tell you carefully. very carefully. For you see, you will receive your voices, your own true voices. And if you don't like the voice that you get, you may trade it for another voice. But whatever voice you have while the sun is in the sky, you can trade. But once the sun sets, you'll keep whatever voice you have forever. Choose carefully. And so the animals all crowded around, and the first animal was the dog. And the dog ran, leapt into the bag, took the voice out of it, put the voice on, took a deep breath, and the dog went quack, 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 quack. That's not my voice, said the dog. That's not my own true voice. I can tell. And so he went and reached and looked into it and took. And this time the dog, instead of grabbing a voice, went sniff, sniff. Ah. Oh, that's my voice, because the dog finds things by sniffing, right? And so the dog took off of the duck's voice, and the duck was happy to get that voice. And the dog went, took a deep breath and went. That's my voice. That's my own true voice. And so animal after animal after animal got their voices until at last there was only 2 voices left in the bag. And there was only 2 animals left to get those voices. Great big lion and wee little mouse. And lion was about to take a big growly voice when mouse saw, hey, thought about, I want that voice. And mouse ran over to the bag, grabbed hold of lion's voice, and ran away with it. And lion got the only voice that was left. And you know what that sounded like? Make that mouse give back my voice, squeaked the lion. And the shaper said, I can't do that. Mouse may have taken your voice, but you're going to have to ask mouse for the voice. Oh, if I don't get my voice, I'm going to kill the mouse, squeaked the lion. But you can't do that either, said the shaper. If you kill the mouse dies. Your voice will disappear with mouse forever. You have to use your brains, lion. Poor lion. Lion wasn't good at using their voices, his brains, because, well, whenever he wanted something, he just took it. So he ran into the forest crying out, Mouse, 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 please give back my voice, my own true voice. But mouse was having too much fun and with lion's voice, because you see, mouse went and hid underneath a tree, took a deep breath, and let out a great roar, and all the leaves fell off the tree. Oh, that was fun. And went underneath another tree. Roar! And leaves fell off off that tree. And so mouse ran from tree to tree to tree. And roaring, and all the leaves were flying around. And, well, mouse got tired of this. And so mouse went and found giraffe. I'm going to have some fun with giraffe. And the little mouse went climbing up the giraffe's leg. Long, long, long climb. And then up its long, long neck. Long, long, long climb. And at last mouse came up to the giraffe's long neck. Is behind his big ears. And, and he took a deep, deep, deep breath, and he went roar. But giraffe just shook his head, and little mouse went flying through the air. Mouse went flying over the trees. Mouse landed splash and fell into the water. And mouse would have drowned. And mouse would have died. But a great golden paw reached down, 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 and lifted up mouse up onto warm, dry earth. And who do you think it was? It was lion. And mouse said, "Oh, lion, lion, thank you for saving my life. Oh, lion. Oh, How can I thank you? You can give me back my own true voice, said the lion. And do you think Mouse gave back Lion's true voice? Yes, because Lion needed his true voice, and Mouse got Lion his voice, and that was the squeak. And so to this day, Mouse has a little squeaky voice, and Lion, well, Lion has a true voice of a lion. And what does that sound like? It went roar! And so that is how the animals found their voices, their own true voices, at the beginning of the world. And may each one of us, Louis and Bubba C and the other children, and myself, may we find our own true voices as the animals did long time ago. And
Yeah.
that's
Hey, Louis, did you enjoy that story? HB iPad, did you enjoy the stories? All right.
well. I'm glad you enjoyed the stories, and I do believe we have announcements now. The next up.
And the announcement today is, unless you know the announcements, I don't have a list of announcements, except for to encourage everybody to tune in next Friday for more stories from children for children. I will not be here next Friday. That's a long story, but I will not be here next Friday. And I know we have a get a word in edgewise coming up, Edgeway coming up soon, but it's not posted yet. So the only thing I can suggest to folk is check out worldstorytellingcafe.com from time to time to find out when our next events are. But in the meantime, to Louis, HB iPad, and all the other people listening from Facebook, we want to thank Norman again. Yay, Norman!
Thank you. And thank you for being such wonderful listeners, because without a listener, the story just wanders off and it gets lost. And so thank you for listening, and let the stories fly like the kites. They're the things you can fly, retell the stories, and maybe make a kite and think about what you would want to paint on your kites or draw upon the backs of the kites. I do hope you get a chance for kite flying somewhere somehow. I live in a condo, so unfortunately I can't. But there are other places in Toronto where the trees and the wind blows, and it's a chance to fly a kite.
All right.
Okay.
Want to thank Waleed for flying the magic carpet. And once again, invite everyone to stay tuned to worldstorytellingcafe.com to find out when our next one, what our next event is. Unfortunately, it's not posted, so I can't share it with you. So just, check us out. And you can check us out on Facebook as well, World Storytelling Cafe. And in the meantime, to each and every one of you, I want to wish you the best of best. Continue having a fantastic Friday and a wonderful weekend. All right, everybody take care.
All right. Take care.
Bye, Babsy.
All right, Louis, brighten up my day.
Why are you not doing it next week?
I have to tell you about that later. It's
Of
not
course.
yeah,
Right.
right? Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, HBI. Thank you, Louis. Are you going swimming today?
No, it's half term for them this week.
Oh, all right. HBI, did they go already? Well, they thanked us.
Have
But
good. Yes, thank you. So
all right.
I think I'm going to sign up.
Babsy.
All right, take care,
Bye-bye.
Louis.
Thank
Thank
you.
you guys. Bye-bye. I'm Norman.
Bye, Louis. Take
Norman.
care.
I'm Norman. I love your stories. But
Thanks.
everyone on the cars is amazing one as well. And the Turtle Island one, that's my favourite because you just said about the turtles. I don't know when, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is also about the turtles. I'll tell you next time. Alright, I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Okay then. Bye
All right,
bye.
take
Thank
care.
you.
All right.
Bubba C, I'll see you right after this, okay?
All right, we'll do.
Okay. Take
And
care.
Waleed, thank you once again. And I'm gonna get this out the way so we can all sign off. Waleed, this is Baba C saying, see out.
See.